strains of Rebel Sun, we introduce WWE Intercontinental Champion Wade Barrett, a.k.a. Bad News Barrett. You are on the card tonight for a WrestleMania event. WrestleMania 31's coming, but this is not that. This is a different card. It's happening at Joe Louis Arena, 7 o'clock tonight, and you'll be there.
Yeah, very excited. I don't know who I'll be wrestling yet, but no doubt I'll be beating somebody up.
You're going to be bringing the thunder and laying the Smackdown on somebody.
That's what our fans expect. And, it's always great coming into Detroit. It's always an amazing crowd, and we feed off that energy. So we're looking to pack the Joe Louis Arena out tonight and come along. It's going to be a great show.
Tickets start at $15. You got seats going all the way up to 110. Detroit is a wrestling hotbed. I mean, for years and years, we go back, we think about WrestleMania 3 with Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant at the Silverdome. Humongous crowd. Everybody went crazy. Why do you think it is that wrestling plays so well here?
I don't know what it is about Detroit. I think it's a very blue-collar town. I think there's something about blue-collar workers and stuff. They've always loved wrestling. It's been traditionally the biggest market for wrestling, and something about Detroit. We were in Pittsburgh yesterday. It was exactly the same. It's just a huge area, and like you say, we have that history here. There's a great history of wrestling tradition in this town, and we're looking to add to it tonight.
How has wrestling changed over the last 20 years? Because it was sort of reinvented in the 90s and really got big and exploded in popularity after, of course, the 80s and the 70s were more local, regional. What about now?
I think now we athletically are the best we've ever been. If you look at the guys who are in the ring, I think we've gone away from purely the entertainment and the bodybuilder kind of guys who were around in the 80s. Nowadays it's pure athletes, and our fans demand a higher level of athleticism and in-ring entertainment from us. We're also a lot more PG based these days. I think if you remember some of the stuff from the 90s, it was a bit more risque. Mm-hmm. Nowadays we're a very family oriented product. We're great for kids right the way through to the older generation. So bring the whole family along.
Now you are like 6'7", 250, 246, something like that.
Yeah.
Now that would be a classic build for an NFL tight end. What attracted you to wrestling as opposed to another athletic endeavor?
I'm from England. I'm sure you can probably tell by the accent, so I didn't get too much NFL training out there. Maybe
that's not a it doesn't keep you on that side of the pond. You could have come over.
Right, I was a soccer player, believe it or not, and my dimensions weren't really made for that. But I fell in love with WWE when I was a kid, just a huge fan, and then I got to 18, 19 years old, realized that soccer was never going to happen for me. I wasn't built for that at all, and I discovered that I wanted to give wrestling a shot, and I started training out in the UK, and I started wrestling very small time out there. WWE spotted me, brought me over to the States, and the rest is history.
Now, I'm old enough that I started watching wrestling with WWF, which became WWE. Now, who was your wrestling hero when you said 18, 19, you became a huge fan?
I started off when I was a kid, and probably when I was about 10 years old, was a guy, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. He was from a place called Wigan, which was just down the road from where I'm from, and he was my ultimate hero. I loved a ton of guys back then, though. The Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Bret the Hitman Hart, and there's so many. And then later than that, it was The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H and all those guys. So, I've been a huge fan for years.
One of the highlights of the wrestling when you were a kid is watching the interviews. Like me and Gene Okerlund would go one-on-one, and the guys would turn to the camera and do you do that?
I sometimes get involved in a bit of that. I get a little catchphrase and all that stuff, and people like to
well, look, there's your close-up on 7. This is your chance to tell everybody out there in Detroit land to come see you tonight.
Detroit, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Head down to the Joe Louis Arena tonight to see me in action and see what I'm going to do to my opponent.
That was suitably menacing. Here we got a round of applause in studio for Bad News Barrett. Thanks for being here this morning. It was a lot of fun. Good luck tonight. Break a leg, but not really. I mean, it's showbiz craze, yes.